Okay, today we're going to start chapter 2. We're going to talk specifically about how to write and interpret equations. Now, last chapter we didn't write equations or interpret, we just talked about expressions. So what's the main difference between an expression and an equation?
Equal sign.
Equations have an equal sign. So today we're going to be writing out equations. That means they have to include an equal sign. If you don't include an equal sign, then it would not be correct. Okay? Yes?
Yes.
All right. Here we go. All right, the first one we're going to look at is 3 times r less than 15 equals 6. So it's giving us a like a verbal sentence, right? And we're going to write out an equation for each sentence. Yes? So we're translating this into an equation. We're going to use numbers, variables, and operations. Okay? Anybody think they can tell me how to write an equation based off this sentence? Or anybody want to try and just guess even if you're wrong? Because I appreciate that over just nothing. Thanks, Chisholm.
Wait, say it again.
Just tell me some things that you know from this sentence that we're going to have to use.
Multiplication.
Okay, where do you see that?
3 times r.
So how could I write out 3 times r?
3r.
3r. Okay, what else will I have to use? Minus. What words tell us minus?
Less than.
Less than. Okay,
15.
hold on. Okay, what else? Equals 6. Now, is this how I would write out my equation in this order? Chisholm. I heard you say it earlier. What do I need to do? Why do I need to flip these two things?
It says less than.
Yep. Anytime we say less than, we start with what comes second. So that would be 15 and subtract what is written before. Okay. So on these, I'll kind of go through, I'll highlight the things that we need to talk about, and then we'll talk about some of those things, like when do I reverse the order? Okay. Anytime I see less than or more than. Also, one came up today that we saw. Let me see if I can find it. Subtracted from. Subtracted from is the same as less than in where you have to switch the order. Okay? So you just have to be careful about the wording of this. All right. Number 2. We're going to do the sum of 31 and Jacob's height is 57. Okay. What does the word sum mean that we're going to do? We're going to add 2 things. What things are we adding? 31 and yj. Because we don't know its height, right? Now, is j the only thing you could use here? H, x, any of those things would be fine unless they tell you a variable specifically. Okay? What does is mean in math? Equal to 57. Now, again, this isn't how I would write it out. We're just kind of highlighting the things we need. Now let's put it together. 31 plus j equals 57. Okay? How do you feel about those 2 things? Doable? Here's why it's important that we know what all these math words mean. All right, we're going to do twice the difference of a number of 9 equals 6. Now, sometimes these can be a little tricky, so we just have to be careful about how we write them. So just tell me things that we see that we know we're going to have to use.
2 times 5.
Yeah, twice means times 2, okay? Okay. Then what? What does difference mean?
Subtract.
We're subtracting two things. So what are we subtracting? What do we call this number? X, that's fine. And 9. We know the last part equals 6. So here's what we have to be careful about. What are we subtracting and what are we multiplying by 2? So what all are we multiplying by 2?
X.
This whole part, correct?
Yeah.
So let's write that out first. How can I show the difference of a number and 9? X minus 9. Okay? And how can I double this whole entire part?
Put it in parentheses.
Put it in parentheses. Good. And then just set it equal to 6. Okay? I hope we're writing this down so we have this to refer back to. If we're not, we should definitely write down the next one. Now, this one reads essentially the same way, right? What's the first part that we see? So we're multiplying 7 or times 7, right? And then we have that same thing we just had last time. We're multiplying it by the sum of a number and 4. So I really should start with that. How do I show the sum of a number and 4? X plus 4. Good. We add the two things together, or y plus 4, h plus 4, it doesn't matter. And just like last time, how do I multiply that whole sum by 7? Parentheses. Good. Okay. Am I finished? No. Chisholm, what else?
Equals 12.
Equal to 12. Good.
Do you have an assignment today?
Pardon?
Assignment?
Do you have one?
Oh,
Yes. Good news is, not tomorrow.
Huh? There is not an assignment tomorrow. There's not today.
There's an assignment today, but not one tomorrow.
Thanks for clearing that up for us. Okay. All right. We ready? What was that, Chisholm?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I said that.
I was just asking.
I said that. Oh, no. You got my name right.
Why wouldn't I?
Chris Ashman.
Okay. Chisholm is saving $7 each week. Today, he spent $15 at lunch. And has $42 left. Okay, we're going to write an equation to show how many weeks he has been saving. All right? So, if we know Chisholm saves $7 each week, how can we show that?
7.
Okay, 7x or 7w would probably be best because we're talking about weeks. Either way, it doesn't matter. 7x, I'm going to use 7w because we're talking about weeks. And if he spent $15 today, what should I do? I should take away 15 from that. And he has $42 left. Equals 42. Now, would it be possible for us to solve this equation to find out how many weeks Chisholm's been saving?
Yeah.
Yes.
Plus 15, plus 15.
We're gonna-
You plus 15 to the 42 that you tried. I said.
I love that. If we know that already, these next couple weeks are going to be easy stuff. Okay? Because that's all we're doing the next 2 weeks. That's all we're doing. Because we're going to make sure we all know how to solve equations and we can just rattle it off like that. Because here's the deal. This stuff we're doing today, we don't write equations a ton. We do some, but like every day in algebra, every day in geometry, every day in algebra 2, you will use this, solving equations, okay? Not what we did today, writing, but like you have to know how to take an equation and solve because we do it all the time. So these first couple of weeks, we're gonna hit that pretty hard and just make sure. And you'll probably get to the point where you're like, why are we still doing this? But we want everyone to know it well, okay? Yeah? How do we feel about today specifically, just writing them out? Are you gonna have to solve any of these that you're writing today? No, right? I didn't solve anything today. I just wrote out an equation, done. Now, you do not have to on your work, like it's gonna give you all of this. You don't have to write this on your paper. Today is one of those days where all I expect to see is number 1, an equation. Number 2, 3x plus 4 equals 2 times 6 minus y, whatever it is.
Is it bookwork?
Yes. But all you have to do, you guys, is write down your answer and you're done. 2 things I want today. Talk to each other about it, okay? Like this is one of those where here's the only thing I don't want you to do. Let one person know everything and the other person just getting the answers from you. Don't be doing that. But if you're stuck on one, talk with each other. Talk about it with me. Do something so we know how to write these out, okay?